We got to do better.
After vandals targeted the Hutton Settlement, their executive director is calling for change. What he's pushing for ahead.
Mother Nature continues to bring the heat. I'm tracking highs in the low to mid 90s through the end of the week.
Plus, we hear from one of the first officers to start evacuating thousands of people as the Spokane fires race toward homes. His harrowing account as new body cam footage of those hectic moments is released. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the Night Report here on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. For nearly a century, the Hutton Settlement has been a safe place for kids in Spokane, serving as a long-term home for kids ages 6 to 18 who need somewhere to go. But over the past couple weeks, vandals targeted the historic property. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones spoke with the executive director who's pushing for change tonight.
Well, it was about 3 a.m. when the executive director of Hutton Settlement tells me he got an alert this week that someone was breaking into one of their properties. He tells me this isn't anything new, though. Go ahead, take a look at these photos right here. These are shared by Chud Wendell. In the last 2 weeks, he describes several break-ins, arson attempts, and vandalism. He recently posted to Facebook about his concerns, a post that at last check has more than 700 interactions.
With that post and knowing that what we're dealing with at the building we're at right here, we had 2 arson attempts within the building in the last 9 days. It's drug induced, and so I think we have to change some laws on the books, and that was really my ultimate call to action with the post.
According to their website, the Hutton Settlement consists of homes intended to provide a safe environment and, quote, healthy living opportunities for children ages 6 to 18 in need of a long-term alternative home. Wendell says these types of situations are what they try to protect their kids from. So he expressed that it's disheartening to deal with the circumstances that have been recently presented.
The number one is a community can only be as healthy as it is safe. And that's a big piece, because right now there's a lot of perception and a lot of it's reality that we're not safe, which then makes us not that healthy. We got to do better.
As for those arson attempts that Wendell mentioned, he says he's thankful the Spokane Fire Department was able to respond quickly, but there's several things that they now have to adjust because of these situations. And Wendell says each time one of these incidents happen, it has a direct impact on the children they're trying to protect here at the Hutton Settlement. For now, though, on the Night Report, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you. Today, the bomb squad responded to a report of a suspicious device in downtown Spokane. Spokane police says crews responded to West Sprague Avenue and North Howard Street around 1:45 p.m. The bomb squad spent about an hour investigating the device, eventually determining it was not a bomb. The scene was cleared just before 4 p.m. Police have not released any additional details about what the device was or why it was left there, but we'll keep you updated. An independent investigative team has finished its examination of a deadly February shooting involving Grant County deputies. This is body camera footage of the moments leading up to the shooting. The Central Basin investigative team investigated the shooting that happened on February 16th of Aaron Amen in Moses Lake. Investigators say 5 Grant County deputies fired their weapons after they say Amen came out of a barn with a rifle aimed at deputies. The report is now in the hands of the Grant County prosecuting attorney, who will decide whether charges should be filed. The city of Spokane Valley voted unanimously to settle a lawsuit against the city for a deadly car crash in 2022. The $3 million settlement brings the end of a 3-year litigation in which Bryce Adame's family claims that the city is responsible for his death. The city says Adame was the passenger in the car that crashed. It happened at 16th Avenue and Bowdish Road. The city says they are not admitting to any liability for this settlement. Rather, they say they saw it as a way to save taxpayer money. A 63-year-old Rathdrum man has died after a crash in Plummer, Idaho. Idaho State Police say the man was riding a motorbike north on US 95 this afternoon. Troopers say he failed to stop for an SUV coming from the opposite direction and turning left onto Celtice Avenue. The motorcyclist died at the scene. His family has been notified. Police have not said whether the SUV driver could face any criminal charges. All right, let's turn our attention to the forecast now. Meteorologist Michelle Boss joining us from the Outdoor Weather Center. It's been a fairly warm week, but it's warming up as we move into the end of the week. Michelle.
Yeah, today's temperatures were a cool down compared to the last two, but it was brief. We're going to heat back up into the 90s over the next couple of days. Good news is, though we did see a little bit more smoke kind of blowing in aloft from the northwest yesterday and today, air quality stayed in the moderate category, and we're going to see our upper level winds shift more to the southwest and south, and that's going to push some of that smoke back northward. So we should see less haze tomorrow and Friday, and air quality should remain moderate, maybe even moving into the good category. So good news there. Temperature wise, well, let's see. Oh, yes. Temperatures, we're in the upper 60s and lower 70s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, so a little bit more comfortable out here. 78 in Grand Coulee, 70 in Walla Walla, temperatures in the upper 70s in Lewiston. We did have a little bit of cloud cover earlier this afternoon. That has since pushed off to the northeast, so clear skies are expected for tonight. Mostly sunny skies for tomorrow. We'll bottom out in the upper 50s, and then we are on our way to the lower 90s tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. We will see a little bit more cloud cover on Friday, but I think it's going to be even hotter on Friday with highs in the mid-90s. There is a slight chance of showers Friday night into Saturday. Do not count on much of anything in the way of beneficial rains, but keeping that slight chance in there, we'll see a little bit of a cool down Saturday, a more substantial cool down on the way for Sunday.
Michelle, thank you. As families begin the cleanup process following the Spokane complex fires, there are a few important steps they need to take before they can start clearing their properties. Samaritan's Purse is a nonprofit working with local volunteers to help families begin that long road to recovery. The group says it already has helped 16 families with more than 110 requests for more assistance. More than 60 volunteers are sifting through the ash looking for anything that may have survived, while also reminding homeowners they're not alone.
What we really want to do is to be present for those homeowners to know that they're not alone. So many of our local day volunteers that are coming out are local. They're coming out to help their neighbors, to help each other.
Now, before cleanup can begin, household hazardous materials must be removed by the EPA, and properties have to be cleared of asbestos. Once those steps are complete, families can start removing ash and burned structures. Samaritan's Purse is based in North Carolina, but says it plans to stay in our community as long as we need help. The emergency response to the Spokane Area Fires is winding down, but for hundreds of families, the work of rebuilding is just getting started. Relief efforts are shifting from food and shelter to financial assistance. Sebastian Robertson reports tonight as survivors are beginning to make some of the biggest decisions of their lives.
This Stevens County fire station was one of dozens and dozens that responded to those fires that started on August 1st, what would become the Spokane Complex fire. And as those flames died down, this fire station is now serving as a hub for people who need financial assistance.
Navy veteran Tom Cliver is facing a new reality, navigating a mountain of paperwork after his home was claimed by the Autumn Lane fire.
Right now, I might just sell it, the property, and move down to Oregon, see my daughter, and live there.
More than 800 buildings, many of them homes, were destroyed by the Spokane Complex fires. The response is now shifting from food and shelter to financial assistance. This fire station is serving as a hub where the American Red Cross and the Washington State Emergency Management Division are connecting survivors with financial aid.
Right now, our focus is on providing that immediate financial assistance to folks to help kickstart that recovery.
The state has made $1.5 million available through household needs grants to help wildfire survivors cover immediate expenses.
Having insurance or not having insurance doesn't matter, as if you had your home destroyed where you live, they can apply for assistance.
Additional funding could come from D.C. Governor Bob Ferguson says he's preparing to ask President Trump for a federal major disaster declaration.
I had the clear sense he understood what was going on. I had the clear sense he'd been briefed on what was going on.
If approved, that declaration would unlock direct financial assistance for wildfire survivors once damage assessments are complete.
Once that adrenaline starts to die down, it may be harder for folks down the road. So make sure to check in on your neighbors.
Neighbors that in Tom's case may have saved his life.
Somebody kind of saved my hide. I was watching TV and somebody called me and some close friends, and they told me that there's a big fire coming out and everything. An hour and a half and my house was already going on fire.
With the last Red Cross emergency shelter set to close this week, recovery workers say the focus is shifting from emergency response to helping families rebuild their lives.
It's going to be a long road. It takes a long time to recover. We've had a lot of homes destroyed.
The fire destroyed neighborhoods in days. Rebuilding them will take years.
And we're getting a sense of the scope of the damage tonight. The Red Cross says that at one point more than 400 volunteers from the country were on the ground in the Spokane area. They say so far more than 15,500 meals have been served. Back to you.
What you're seeing is new footage from the Spokane Police Department of how people were being evacuated during the Spokane Area Fires. At the time, more than 60,000 people were forced from their homes. After the break, we'll hear from one of the first officers on the scene to evacuate people during these fires. We'll be right back.